Hey doll, so I am back with another video. Thank you so much for all the comments on yesterday's video that we did on Kenneka Jenkins. So many of you know that they did the MTV special yesterday, and I did promise that I was going to do like a review on what I think about it. So grab your coffee. Wait. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's do this review video. Let's go dolls. I am going to tell you what I think about it, and it's about to be a video. So this is how I decided to do this video. I'm going to start off with, by the way, I have my dog in the corner. Get in the frame. Let them see you. She don't want to be in the frame, but if you keep seeing movement and sound in the background, she's just there. So anyway, I decided to split this video up into two parts, which is pros and cons, because I always like to find the good thing in everything, and I'm gonna go right off the bat and tell you that I did not like this documentary. Well, half and half, maybe like 70% of me. It was 70%, I'd say, out of 100. Maybe 60, maybe 70 is a bit too much, but I did not. It just wasn't it for me. So, because I don't want to be biased, because I find the whole documentary biased, I'm going to give you my pros and my cons and what this whole documentary was all about. I'm going to give you a breakdown in case you don't have MTV, or in case you want my opinion, because I did promise I'll do it. So let's get started. So I'm going to start on a positive note with my list of pros. So pro number one is the narrator was good. So they had a young narrator, which he said he was in his 20s. I think that was a good thing, instead of getting someone older to tell the story, because I feel like this story was blown up on the internet from young people, just being interested. This is our generation. This is like millennial stuff. So I think it was perfect having a young man tell it and narrate the story, which was just the best. And for that, a young black male, because it kind of just makes it feel more real, if you know, because most people that were on this case were just young black millennials. So I just love that. I think that was genius. So that was my number one pro about this. The second pro was that again, this the second pro is the family were put in, like they were invited to be in this. Part of her family, of course her mum was not in it, or her sister, but her cousin and someone else, I don't know who the other person was, I can't remember, but the cousin, she was on the right, the one on the right, the one that was more outspoken. I liked hearing how they feel about the situation from the family, because we've never really heard all of her family. We just hear like the mum, and we don't even hear the sister, her older sister. We only hear her mum. So it was nice to hear from another side of the family and how they're dealing with it, what they think about the case. And you know, I loved hearing. I've always been like curious for these past 2 years to hear both sides of like both not both sides of family, but both sides, which was perfect. You know what, I'm gonna add a con. I have a con, so I have to remember at the end. But anyway, the next pro was the family. I've already said that. Anyway, the next pro was also like similar to the family, hearing from her friends. So the good friends that she had, not the ones that were in the hotel. We've heard enough on their Facebook lives. Hearing from actual friends that loved her and, you know, knew her really well and could tell you about her, have pictures with her. That's, you know, that was really good hearing from them and seeing how the case has affected them, especially one of her friends in the interview that was being interviewed, that was there. They showed one of her friends who showed a picture of them at prom. Well, she was going to prom and she said something like, Kenneka never got to go to prom. And I literally teared up, because you can see she was very, very emotional, which is something that this whole case has lacked, is lack of emotion. I don't see it, and I'm sorry, I just don't see much emotion. There's so much lack of it, and there's a lot of talk, and you know, including, and this is what bugs me, is that a lot of the friends in the hotel, Irene and all of that friends, they're just going off on social media. There's no like tears and stuff. I've never seen them one day cry and break down and make a video like how much they miss Kenneka 2 years on and we wish this didn't happen. It's just he said, she said, this person did that, and this wouldn't do that, this person didn't watch over her. Enough about that and more about the victim. Like, enough of blaming and pointing fingers at each other. So that's what I do like about this, is that it showed actual emotion for the first time in this whole case. I've never seen it. I don't know about you, but I've not seen much emotion. The closest thing to emotion is her mum. but that's expected. But I don't see it from those so-called friends that were with her. So apparently friend, this friend was with her in this friend went to the hotel and was seen looking for her. They showed videos of her. So it was really nice to just, it was really sad, don't get me wrong, but it was like I literally almost teared up because she's really young to have to deal with that. I'm pretty sure like she's probably suffering some type of PTSD because she was literally seeing her in the party, and then the next thing she's missing, and then the next thing you find out your friend died in the most horrific way. So I'm pretty sure she's suffering from it. You can tell she was really emotional. So to me, that was a really positive thing to add her in there. And, you know, I guess that's the beginning of dealing with the pain, is being in this special, MTV special, to be able to talk about her. Another thing that, okay, the third one was, no, the fourth one is hearing from Zach TV. So many of you know, I spoke about in my first video, Zach TV was one of the main key players online for this whole Kenneka story. And hearing from him, as many of you know, he was killed not long after the Kenneka situation. Do you want to be in the video? No, you want to be in the video? Dolls, can you see? Come up. Okay, maybe not. Do you want to be in the video? Okay, before I was rudely interrupted by anyway, so yeah, it's Zach TV was like really getting close to the truth from what I feel and from what a lot of people on the internet feel. He was like very close to finding out what happened, and he was literally taken out. I really believe his death has something to do with the whole interviews that he did for the Kenneka case, because he was the only one that interviewed Irene and two boys that were at the party. So I think that was really really something key to this whole case, and it's so sad he's gone. So to be able to, and this makes me know that they filmed this years in advance. They didn't just, because at first when I first saw this I was thinking this is coming out a little bit too late. It's 2 years later and this documentary is coming out. But I like it. I feel like they've gathered all they need to gather, and 2 years has passed. It's going to be 3 years this year. And I feel like they gathered that in, they got that clip. They must have started this right when it happened, because they got that, like Zach TV is dead, as many of you know. He died like not long after that. So the way they gathered that clip, it looks so fresh, and I liked it. It looked like he was almost like talking from the grave or something. So that was nice to just include him in, because to me he's a key figure in this whole case, and his passing shouldn't, you know, it's got something to do with this case. So I feel like it's a nice way to honour him, is having him in this documented. So that is number 4. So number 5 is, this is my final one. I'm squeezing to pull out something positive from a lot of the stuff I'm about to say that were negative. So this is good. This is positive, right? So I'm trying, because I really did not like this. It's like, we'll get to it. So number 5 is the next positive thing on number 5 is we got to feel Kenneka's personality, and not that we already didn't feel it from a lot of the Facebook videos and posts and pictures that her mum posts and people post, but the way they just compiled everything together, you got to know more about her as a human. Because a lot of the times in a lot of these crime cases and investigations and stuff like this, you forget the person was human. They're almost dehumanized. They're like almost seen as just a victim. They're not even seen as a victim. They're just seen as a tragedy. So I feel like they took their time to compile her life and videos that I've not even seen of her before, and you got to just see that she was just this happy, bubbly 19-year-old girl that was just ear to ear smile, like this really big smile that's like, you can just sense that this is someone that if you saw her in real life, she would just, you know, like she just radiates. You can tell that, and you can see that that's a point of possible jealousy. The fact that she has this glow, she literally has this glow. Like, I'm not BSing, I'm not making it up. She's just really was an awesome child, and it's sad, but it was beautiful that it was documented in this documentary. So I think that was my 5 positive things. So are you ready to hear my 5, well, more than 5 negatives? You might want to grab your coffee for that, because it's about to get negative in here. It's about to be a lot of, not shade throwing, just negativity. So I'm going to tell you my 5 negative things about this documentary. Not 5, more than 5. So number 1 is, well, I just added this in there. Remember, I told you I had one to add in, and I cannot forget this. Number 1 negative is the fact the hotel could not issue any, like, they couldn't come and sit down and talk. And they did say because they have a pending lawsuit with Kenneka's mom, because why is my voice going out? Because Kenneka's mom is suing them for $50 million, which is a lot, but I say get it. I mean, you can't bring back life, but you can, I mean, her child's death should not be in vain. I would do the same thing. It's been 2 years, go for it. So she's suing them for 50 million because, and we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Another video, not on this video, because it's going to be long and drawn out, my opinion about the lawsuit. But anyway, they did say because of the lawsuit, she's like, not she, the hotel have like, they're gagged, they can't, well, they personally, it's not like they're legally gagged, but they personally don't want to talk, which is understandable. When you have a lawsuit with someone, you don't need to put out information too much, but they could have at least said more about what they think, because I guess they're waiting to court to actually go out and say what they need to say. But with all their evidence and whatever they have, that's what that basically means. But they're very dismissive, and this is going to be the basis of my whole view about the whole, why I think this is a very negative, why I think the whole documentary is kind of negative, is bias. Keep that in mind. So number two, it could have been better. So basically I feel like it just was not, I wouldn't say sloppily done, it just could have been better. There could have been more witnesses and more people. I wish they got an interview with Kenneka's mum. It would have been good hearing how she feels 2 years on, or her sister, more of that. I feel like there could have been staff interviewed from the hotel, because here's the thing, it would have just made it more juicy, and it would have made it more, you'll feel like there's new stuff to know about the case if you hear from staff. But I guess especially staff that are disgruntled and don't work there anymore, that would have been good to have them talk. But maybe they're all signed an NDA where they can't talk about that story anymore, because even if they're not working there, I bet you they've all signed NDAs where they'll be sued if they talk about it. But it would have been good if they got like witnesses or guests that were there that time, how they feel about what happened. That would have been more good. Number three is a lot was left out, and that just goes to where I feel like they purposely left a lot out because they had a biased view right from the beginning. Like it was just, they got you to think that they hyped up this whole show like it was going to be solving stuff. And right from the beginning, like I already knew, this is on mainstream TV. They're not going to solve anything on mainstream TV. It's not like YouTube where you can say things raw and uncut, like you're not gagged in what you can say. And that's why main TV hate a lot on YouTube, which I'm going to get onto one of my points in this video. But on main TV, you're like limited to what you can throw out there because of lawsuits and stuff like that. And not just that, because it's main TV, they're very censored. They don't want, they don't want to look to affect their whole brand of MTV, their channel. So I already knew they're going to leave a lot out. They're not really going to get into how we on YouTube get into it. The average regular Joe and Jack and Jane on YouTube get into stuff. They're not going to touch that. They basically just retold the whole story. That's pretty much how I see it. There's nothing we gained from it. There's nothing new that came out of it. There's nothing we already didn't know on the internet. I feel like the internet solved or came closer to, or have come closer to solving it more and have got more theories out there. They literally just digested everything off of YouTube and retold it with fancy lighting and camera. That's my personal opinion. And at the same time bashing YouTube, which I'm going to get to in one of my points, so keep that in mind. The next point is, the next con is, and I know some of you are going to grate and slate me for this, but the next point I feel just showing Kenneka's body, because, I showed pictures in my theories video, which I did yesterday, check it out. But yes, I showed that. Pretty much everyone on YouTube showed that. It's on the internet. The police posted it, so it's accessible for everyone, which apparently in this whole documentary they said that the police purposely did that. Of course they did, to basically so you can view the story from without seeing anything hidden. It's all out there basically. They put it out there for everyone to download the videos and everything. So I just didn't think I thought it was distasteful them putting it in, because literally her family are definitely going to be watching this MTV special. With YouTube, they can avoid videos. If they don't want to see all that, they can choose not to click on it. But with that, this is on MTV. Of course they're going to watch it. It's talking about them and their family and, Kenneka's last moment. They're going to watch that. So I feel like there was no warning. It just was like boom. Even though yeah, it wasn't as gory, they chose to show like her back. But it's just, you're just putting them through trauma by seeing that. There should have been a warning. There should have been a warning, so that way they can just look over, like look away when that part comes and look back again. So I didn't like the fact they did that. It was just not necessary. And the next con is it was very one side, as I said, one-sided and biased. So the beginning kind of just retells the story, but towards the end they bring that not medical examiner, the detective man, the detective, and you think he's going somewhere at first, but he kind of like does this huge detour, and right from there I stopped listening when I just saw he was very biased, and he ended up saying, oh, it's an accident. Everything about this whole documentary, oh, it's a tragic accident. When clearly there's all these facts out there that in the pictures, I mean, you see my theories video, within the pictures there's a story. There's more to tell you that something is more wrong. Thanks for coming in the video with your tail. There's more in the videos and in the pictures that we're seeing to tell you that, wait, there's more to the story than that. They know, they won't be, if it's really an accident, let's just be real. If it's really an accident, as they say, why are they doing this whole documentary? Why is that detective coming in the video and sitting there in the suit and tie and saying it's just an accident? What was the point then? If, you know, accidents happen every day in people's homes, people die of random freak accidents in their home, but they don't make it to TV. Why did this one make it to TV? Because there's more to the story, and that just proves my point, is the fact that they know it's not an accident. It can't, if it's an accident, and he even said it, he said that a lot goes on in hotels. It's true, a lot goes on in hotels. So why is this so sensationalized? Because there's more to it within the clues. Like, you can see the clues, they're right in plain sight. So the fact that they're so dismissive and it's only one side, the accident, that's all they want us to believe is an accident. They like fix everything to make it look like that. Which brings me to my next theory. I believe the police were in on this documentary and it was done to just make them look better, because they already look bad in the media and they look bad just on YouTube, and just the public just see them as Rosemont Police did a shoddy job. So I feel like they're behind it. And if you listen carefully, the details are in the whole show. In the show, they said something like how they've never done an interview ever about this. So how come now, when MTV cameras are rolling in, they just randomly just choose to do the interview with MTV? Why have they not done it with a local news channel? Why is it MTV? Of course, more eyes are going to watch it. It's their time to set their record straight. So that's what that was. I feel that they definitely have a hand in this documentary, and they literally, and that's why it's one-sided. And I feel like, this is just my theory, but you can think what you want to think, but I really, really do think that they had a hand in this documentary, and they literally got everything how, you know. And it brings me back to my theory of having a young black narrator tell the story. It makes you, it makes you think, oh, this can't be racist, or oh, because they have a black young man telling the story. That's just my rough theory, but don't run with it. You can run with it if you can, but that's just my theory. The fact that they had him do the narrating, so you're not going to think, in your back of your mind, think it can't be racist because he sees the same thing, or you understand what I'm trying to say? So yeah, and here's the thing. So I don't even think it's really racism. I just feel like a lot of the comments I've got about this whole case was, if she was a blonde white girl, it would have been investigated a little bit more. They would have gotten all their clues together that we're seeing. But because she's black and it's Chicago, and you know, people just always are dying of gun violence and stuff like that in Chicago, oh, it's just another body. That's literally how they treat it. Because to me, there's a lot of evidence there. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of these things don't just, these freak accidents just don't happen like that, you know. And I feel like they would have done more if it was like, you understand, like look at the Natalie Holloway case. I think I'm saying her name right. Look how that was years ago, and they still are looking in, trying to find it, trying to get solved. Why? Because I feel like it's got a lot to do with race. You don't matter sometimes if you're black in America. That's what I feel like. That's just my, it just depends on the area you're from and all that, you know, and that's just my thing. So it makes me wonder. That's just, I don't know. So another thing, what I said I'll get to, is the bashing YouTube. Look, YouTube helped blow up this case. Like, they made this case go viral. People making videos. Yes, I know there's a lot of troll videos out there where people literally are sitting there behind their computers and phones just trolling, making videos just for clout, just for attention, just for clicks and likes and to make some YouTube money. Yes, there's people that are not even interested in crime. Like, they're not passionate about it the way like people like me are. They just jumped on it because these videos get views, and I detest those type of people, because you're just literally, you don't even care about the case. You're just selfish. It's all about you. So yeah, I understand there was a lot of lies and people just exaggerating and doing the most for clicks and views. That was disgusting. I hated it. I hated it. And that's why I'm only talking about this case now. But I didn't even know there was a documentary coming out. I just felt I'm going to talk about this case now. It's been 2 years. The hype has died down. Literally, you can go in one of my videos. I didn't know. Someone had to tell me that this documentary is coming out. I'm like, oh wow. I just happened to talk about it at the right time. But it made a lot of people feel like they're now internet detectives, and they're not sharing it even the way I share it as theories. They literally try to be biased as well and tell you this is what happened. Someone's dragging her here. That's not even her in the video. Like, keep them as theories, but don't try to force your opinion on the rest of the world. And that's what I didn't like about this case, is people were just bringing out wild stuff. But yeah, they bash YouTube way too much, and it's like, MTV, you wouldn't have known about this case if it wasn't for YouTube. YouTube literally kept this case going. Instagram, YouTube, the internet. These people, young people, again, the millennials, we keep stuff hot, we keep stuff going. This case wouldn't have gotten that much traction because, again, from the beginning, they didn't care. And it brings me to my next point that I don't like, how I didn't even realise in 6 weeks they had already closed the case. They said they'll work in 20 days or 22 days straight. It's like, this is too much of a big case for you to just close. It's so dismissive. They just literally just want to literally sweep this stuff under a rug. They're literally doing it. You know what the whole phrase, sweeping something under a rug? That's exactly what they are doing, and it's disgusting because it makes you think, if this happened to you, this can easily happen to someone you know. This can easily happen to you. So it means, and it reminds me of the whole Elisa Lam case, that they literally sweep stuff under the rug. So you just have to watch your back, you know. And there's something my dad was telling me yesterday about hotels. Never stand in a hallway, because just get into your room straight away. You just don't know who's there. You don't know who. Just be careful when you're in these places, because as you can see from history and from cases that I'm covering, when people go missing, sometimes people don't care. Police don't care. It's just not, they don't care. You literally have to have money and power for people to actually research your case. So, and sad thing about this whole thing is the only person who knows the truth is Kenneka. The only person who knows exactly what happened. And she might not even know full details if she was literally out of her mind at the time. But the only person who knows and can see is two people, God and Kenneka. It's sad. So anyway, the next con I have is, let's see. There was just too many lies. There was just too many lies. Like, especially that detective that came on. I told you I just mentally switched off when he came and started talking. I was like, oh my God, I know where this is going. It's very biased. You just want to like punch your TV off, turn the TV off, punch your screen and shake your TV on the floor. You just don't want to watch it anymore at that point. Like, I switched off. As soon as he came, I just was like, you know what, I'm not interested anymore, because I know where this is going. And I hate when something is so one-sided, and just because you slap a title on your name, or you're a medical, you're this examiner, or you're a detective, doesn't mean you know all and have all the, it doesn't mean you have all the answers, doesn't mean you're right. And I feel like that's all this was, let me slap this title on, what I say goes, and that's it, case closed. It was an accident. I just didn't like that. It just felt, and you can see the frustration of her cousin. You can see how her family and friends were just frustrated, because there's more. Like, look at her hand. Oh, and that's another thing. You see how I told you how her hand was like that, and how I told you in that video about theories yesterday how she was fighting for her life? Her family said it, and I was just like, whoa, I'm not the only one who saw that. She's literally fighting for her life. There's just too much stuff in here. And I've watched crime cases where a girl is a blonde girl and she goes missing. They're still trying to look for Madeleine McCain when we know her parents killed her. When that's the main theory about her, but they're still trying to look for her. We already know she's long passed away, but they care so much, because why? Race and class matter. Her parents were doctors. They're never going to give that up. they'll be still searching for her when she's 50 years old, and searching for her like she's a 3-year-old helpless child. But they don't want to look at this case when to me, this case has so much more evidence than even Madeleine McCann. And it's not that I'm trying to bash one case or compare the other, but I'm just giving you an example that people's priorities are a lot to do with class and race, and it's just sad. They don't care, and they didn't know that the internet were going to blow this up. So in my mind, if it was the hotel, they weren't expecting the internet to blow this case wide open. They thought this would be swept under the rug. So again, it makes you wonder how many people have gone missing in that hotel, how many people have died in that hotel, how many people are raped in that hotel, how many times has this happened. It makes you think of other hotels. It makes you think of the Elisa Lam case in Hotel Cecil. How many people have gone undetected? Speaking of Elisa Lam, when I was there in 2000, because you have to go and watch my story time. So I went to the hotel again after that case of Elisa Lam in 2015, and literally someone committed suicide in that hotel, and they were not, only one news article carried it. No, you had to be there to witness it and hear it. You had to see all the police everywhere to know that happened. So literally it made me think, whoa, I can never come to this hotel again, because if they are ready to sweep that information under a rug and not talk about it, and when I talk about suicide, I'm not talking about quietly in the room. I'm talking about the person jumped off of one of the floors. You understand? So they're not news, like that's a news story, but they sweep things under the rug in these places, and a lot of these institutions, a lot of these businesses and hotels, they don't want bad business, so they just kind of shoo it away. And that was what they were getting ready to do to Kenneka, but they didn't know the internet is literally woke, and they're literally awake and seeing everything, and they literally put this together. They were hoping that will go under the rug, and we'll be on to the next topic on Monday. So anyway, this is why I almost believe that the hotel definitely know what went on. Did you see the video where the officer went into the, the manager of the hotel just went into the freezer where she was and saw the body? No reaction, no like jumping back. Sorry. No like reaction of jumping back. No, none of that. Just went in. No, oh my God. No, nothing. Just blank, completely blank, and walked out and came back with the police, and was like as if nothing. So to me, I've already seen that before, but when watching it on the TV screen made more sense. It was like he's already known. To me, that's what that looks like. He's already known that she's there. And the whole, just watching this all on TV, I guess this can be a pro. Watching this all on TV just made me know how negligent this whole hotel was. They could have prevented her. If the story they want to tell us is true, that it's an accident, they could have prevented this accident from the beginning, right when the friends were running around the hotel looking for her. Why didn't no one get involved and say, okay, we will try and check the cameras? It just shows me lack of caring, which bothers me. That was the most horrible thing about this documentary, was the lack of care, even threatening to call the police on the friends looking for their friend. My goodness. It's really annoying. So one of the last things that I was going to point out was, again, they're already telling us things we already knew, like a lot of stuff we already know. It wasn't anything dramatic. I'm sure there's going to be a part 2 of this, so we'll see. And then finally, I'm going to just conclude it. The irony, conclude it. There was finally, the last con was there was no conclusion to this. We don't know. There's no conclusion. So it's like, what was the point of this? Again, this is stuff we already know on YouTube. What was the point of this documentary? There's no conclusion. There's no closure. It just gives you more questions, and it actually kind of infuriates you, because their conclusion was this an accident. Okay, so then why make the show if you already had the answer? So it just, I don't know, it just was not that, it wasn't that amazing of a show. I'm sorry, it's a no from me. I mean, the narrator, perfect young man that executed it right. He did good talking, but the rest of the other people, the professionals that were involved, it was all about bashing YouTube to me. That's what I take from this whole thing. So let me know your opinions about this. I noticed a lot of you were pissed off. You commented on my video yesterday and I was like, I'm itching to talk about my views. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big fat thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I should say dolls and guys, because there are a lot of guys watching these videos now. So, hey, let me do that again. So if you enjoyed this video, dolls and guys, give this video a big fat thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe down below. Let me know if you agree with some of my, what my pros and cons. Let me know if you enjoyed this documentary and you can't wait to see part 2. If they have a part 2, I think they have part 2. They do have part 2. Don't quote me though. So let me know if you're excited to see it, if you're going to be watching it. Let me know if you watched the documentary. Let me know what you think about the documentary. And it's so frustrating. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Share my video, give it a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're not, hit the notification bell to get notifications when I post a new video. I'm going to be doing some more crime videos. I'm going to be doing a video on a model that was murdered. That's going to be coming up soon, so stay tuned for that video. That's going to be soon, so hit the notification bell, follow me on Instagram for all notifications when I post a new video. And if you have a suggestion on someone who went missing or a crime documentary you want me to talk about, let me know. We'll do a rundown. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you in my next coffee, crime and chat. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.